Press play and let the story begin. Welcome to Velvety Vibe. Oh, Miss Niayesh. She looked up, eyes still full of fear and tears. What the hell had I done to make her look like that? I stepped a little closer and lowered my head. I had to say it in a way that wouldn't hurt his pride. According to company policy, you get your first month's salary in advance. Go to accounting tomorrow. They'll handle everything. The way he looked at me soothed my nerves. As I walked away, I heard the soft sound of him finally letting out the breath he'd been holding. Shadab. The moment he walked away, I exhaled. The whole time he was standing so close, so intimidatingly close, I hadn't dared breathe, afraid he might hear my racing heartbeat. My legs felt shaky. I sat on the bench right where he had been sitting. The good feeling from hearing that beautiful company policy brought a smile to my lips. Tabassom came over and said with a teasing grin, "Wipe that smug smile off your face." I grinned even wider. He said I should go pick up my first paycheck tomorrow. Her eyes nearly popped out of her head. "What?" I quickly explained before she got the wrong idea. I didn't ask him for anything, I swear. He just said it's company policy. Her surprise melted into a soft, bittersweet smile. "Oh, well, that's awesome." I nodded happily. She placed her hand over mine. "Tomorrow, we're finally getting those green sneakers you've been dreaming about for a month." I tilted my head, glancing in the direction Diako had gone. Did my heart even care about anything else anymore? I sighed. "Yeah, my shoes are falling apart." I lifted my foot and twisted my ankle a bit. They've soaked up so much water, it sounds like I'm walking through puddles. She looked at me with pity. "So this whole time, you were okay walking around like that just because you didn't want to borrow money from me? That's what friendship means to you?" I looked at her, pouring all my love and gratitude into that glance. "No, I swear. It's just, I knew I couldn't pay you back. That's the only reason." She glared. "Did I ever ask for it back? Did I ever say you had to repay me fast?" She didn't understand. My pride, my self-respect, my dignity, they were worth far more than any pair of shoes. I grabbed her hand and gently pulled her off the bench. "I know you're amazing, honestly. The fact that when Diako, Mr. Hatami, said he needed a secretary, and you recommended me instead of yourself, that means the world to me. I'll never forget it." She laughed with childlike joy. "You mean it?" I looked around to make sure no one was watching, then gave her a quick peck on the cheek. That was my answer. We walked home together, laughing. There was a shoe store near our place, and we stopped in front of it. Through the window, we both stared at the green and white sneakers I had been eyeing for weeks. I pointed at them with mock drama. "Tomorrow this time, you're mine." Tabassom pointed to a cute pair of pink loafers. "Don't you think those are even cuter?" I leaned on her, pretending to be deep in thought as I stared at the delicate pink shoes. Then I turned my eyes back to the green sneakers. Yeah, those are nice too, but I still love the green ones." She laughed. "Then why not get both? You're rich now." The reminder that I had a job, a paycheck, gave me a flutter of nerves. What if I mess up? What if they fire me? She playfully smacked my hand. "Shut up. You act like you're applying to be the head of quality control or something. All you'll be doing is answering a few calls and typing up some letters." My anxiety grew stronger. "But I'm really slow at typing. I barely know anything about computers." She let out a dramatic, exaggerated, "Ugh, Miss Engineer, please, have a little confidence in yourself." I looked down. Engineer? Confidence? The most advanced tech I'd ever used was that old rotary phone gathering dust in the corner of our living room. What exactly was I supposed to be confident in? Her voice came from right beside me. "Stop stressing so much. Don't sell yourself short. You got into one of the best engineering schools in the country, with no prep books, no private tutors, no fancy classes. That's something even rich kids with all the help in the world couldn't pull off. And now you're worried about typing a few lines? I scratched my forehead nervously. I just don't want to embarrass myself in front of Mr. Hatami. She let out a frustrated puff. Ugh, you and your Mr. Hatami. Anyone would think he's Tom Cruise or something. Tom Cruise? That bland American actor? Compared to my Diako, so intense, so charismatic, there was no contest. I laughed. He doesn't even come close to Diaco's ankles. She rolled her eyes. God, you're so cringe, Shadab. I opened the door and quickly made my way to the stairs. I'm home, I called out. I heard my mother's voice from the kitchen. Hi, sweetheart. You must be tired. I quickened my steps. She was sitting cross-legged on the kitchen carpet, peeling potatoes. She smiled as soon as she saw me, and just like that, a wave of peace washed over me. I sat beside her, wrapped an arm around her shoulders, and kissed her soft cheek. What's the news, Mom? She tried to hide the sadness in her face behind a forced smile. Good news, actually. We found a serious buyer for the house. My hand froze. What? She lowered her head and rushed her words. Honey, once you're done with school, we'll get a better place than this. These bricks and walls aren't worth all this struggle. We'll rent a proper place, fix up our lives a little. And I cut her off. And we'll use the rest to pay for that darling husband of yours. The knife in her hand stopped. She lifted her head with teary eyes. Don't talk like that, Shadab. He's your father. I shook my head with disappointment. And that's exactly the problem. All my excitement faded in an instant. I undid the buttons of my coat and dragged myself out of the kitchen with heavy steps. I heard her call after me, Shadab. Tears welled up in my eyes. Without turning back, I said, I swear to God, on Shadi's life, on your own life, if you even think about selling this house, I'll leave. And I won't come back. Just watch. She repeated my name in disbelief. Shadab, and I whispered in my heart, Shadab is dead. I opened the door to the room I shared with Shadi, my 16-year-old sister. She was fast asleep. I knelt beside her and gently stroked her jet black hair. Dried tear streaks lined her face. Even in sleep, her chin trembled, and she felt warm to the touch. Feverish. I softly called her name. She opened her eyes immediately, startled, and threw her arms around my neck. You're back, sis? I loved the way she said sis. I looked into her tired, red eyes and exhaled deeply. I'm back, love. Why'd you fall asleep so early? Did you eat? She shook her head. No, I didn't. I kissed her cheek. You were gonna go to sleep on an empty stomach? She covered her face with her hand. I can't open my mouth. I can't chew anything. My tooth hurts so bad. And just like that, she started crying again. My breath caught. One of her teeth needed surgery. They said it wasn't something just any dentist could do. It needed a specialist, and we couldn't even afford a basic visit, let alone surgery. I wiped her tears and cradled her head. Is it hurting now too? She sniffled. Mom gave me some painkillers. It's a little better now. I bit my lip. Don't worry about school tomorrow. Stay home. I'll come pick you up around 11. We'll go to the dentist, okay? She pulled back and looked at me with those soft, weary eyes. With what money? I smiled. I start work tomorrow. They're gonna give me my first month's pay in advance. As soon as I get it, I'll come get you. You'll be done with this tooth pain for good, promise. Her beautiful face filled with relief. Really? I hugged her tight. Swear to God, and we're not selling the house either. Things are gonna get a little better now. She laughed. Loud, free, happy. So Mom won't have to sew wedding dresses anymore? I ran my fingers through her hair, kissed her, exhaled, and whispered, I don't know about that, but what matters is we're keeping the house. What matters is we're fixing your tooth. What matters is we can still handle our lives without begging anyone. Just focus on the good stuff for now. Diako. I swam the phone onto the desk and yelled, "Miss Soltani!" She burst into the room in less than a second. "Yes, sir?" "Yeah, sure. Yes, sir, my ass. How many times do I have to tell you not to patch that bastard's calls through to me? Huh?" "How many?" She flicked her dyed red hair and walked toward the coffee table in the middle of the office. "I swear I didn't know. Some woman called. I didn't think she was with him." She turned her back to me deliberately, bent over to pour a glass of water. Her tight top rode up to her belt line, and her skinny jeans shamelessly highlighted her curves. It took me a few seconds, and a whole lot of willpower, to look away. She walked toward me with the glass in hand, taking her sweet time. I knew if I looked up now, her cleavage would be the next thing in my face. So instead, I kept my gaze on the desk. "I don't want water. Bring me the TV network file. And from now on, screen the calls you connect to my office more carefully." Her soft, sultry voice dripped into my ears. "Of course, I'm really sorry. Oh, and there's a young woman waiting outside. Says she has an appointment with you." I leaned back in my chair and stared straight into her heavily lined eyes to keep myself focused. "What's her name?" She frowned and said with disdain, "Niayesh. Claims she had a meeting with you." And then added a snide smirk. The name triggered something in my memory. Sounded oddly familiar. I can tell her to leave. She doesn't exactly look credible. I opened my mouth to say I didn't remember her, but suddenly, the image of that timid, frightened girl from yesterday came to mind. "Oh, yeah, I know her. Let her in." She shrugged and walked out with exaggerated steps. As she left, I found myself involuntarily watching her body again, getting annoyed by her outfit. "Oh, Miss Soltani." She spun on her sharp red heels and purred. "Yes?" I tapped the mouse, turning the screen back on. "That better be the last time you judge someone by their appearance, especially in front of me." I was chuckling at a filthy joke Shadab had texted me when I called out, "Come in." I quickly straightened my smile, put down my phone, and looked up. She stood there with her hands clasped tightly, head bowed. She looked like she might develop neck problems at this rate. "Hi," she said softly. "Hi, come in. Have a seat," I replied, pointing at the couch. She sat down cautiously, pulled her long black blouse over her knees, and lowered her head again. "Sorry to bother you. I went to accounting, but they said nothing was arranged." Crap, I'd completely forgotten. I picked up the phone and called accounting. As it rang, I studied her. A plain, makeup-free face, but gentle and sweet. Simple, dark clothes. Her shoes looked. I gave the necessary instructions, then placed both hands on the desk. "What's your major?" Still not lifting her head, she replied, "Civil engineering." Same major as Danyar. "What semester?" "Third." 19 then. "What skills do you have?" I saw her press her knees together, clearly nervous. "Not much, but I learn fast." I called for Soltani. "Can you type?" She entered, looking annoyed already. I didn't like how she was staring at this girl. "A little, but I can practice." Soltani looked at me, questioning. I ignored her. "You know we're mostly a design firm, right? Banners, teasers, animations. Mostly ads for TV. Even as a secretary, I expect you to improve your computer skills. Especially Word, Photoshop, and Excel." Her posture shrunk even more under the weight of my words, and probably Soltani's condescending looks. Soltani crossed her legs and said smugly, "Do you even know what any of those are?" She winked at me and added, "Have you ever even seen a computer before?" I was stunned by her direct insult. Before I could speak, I heard Niayesh's soft voice. "Yes, I have. We have a computer at university." Soltani jumped in before I could say anything. "Can you at least turn it on and off?" I could hear her shaky breaths. I saw the effort it took her not to cry. "I've typed several upperclassmen's theses before," she said. Wait, she typed theses? Using the uni computers? How many hours had she spent there each day? When did she even find the time, this third semester civil engineering student? I got up from my desk and sat beside her on the couch. You think you can learn all that stuff in your uni computers? She pulled away slightly, adjusted her clothes. Her voice was tight with emotion, but firm. Yes, I can. Sultani scoffed with visible disdain. Sure, maybe excel in Word, but you can't just pick up Photoshop like that. I couldn't take it anymore. I turned to Sultani and snapped.